Hello everybody and welcome back to another Paz VOD review. Today we're going over Ana again. Randolph, if you want to introduce yourself to the crowd, go right ahead.
Hi everybody, my name is Randolph. I am a Plat 4 Ana player. I was Diamond in Overwatch 1 and I'm looking to climb back up in Overwatch 2.
Alright, and you said that you've watched this content for a while. I'm curious as to what exactly you think you're doing wrong, what you think you could be doing better, and anything along those lines.
I think for me, a lot of it is timing in the mid fight where I feel like I'm going for the right thing. I'm going for the anti-nades. I think my mechanics are good. I do practice the Baxta aim trainer. So
Good.
I think that I do that well, but maybe the timing so that my team can follow up on it better would be better. And maybe my rotations too, so that I'm not slow or late to shifting my position around.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. And I mean, all that stuff we can kind of figure out once we get into it. But I mean, if you don't mind, we always go over like nano targets at the start and kind of how you're going to play against what they have. That's what we always do as Ana, and I think it's important that we keep that up. If you have any questions, again, just let me know, especially for those that are going to be watching this in the comments. If you have any questions, please do relay those to me. But yeah, let's get right into this. So, as Ana, who's like your primary nano target on this team?
It's just Winston for me. It could be Sim in an emergency, but for the most part, it's going to be Winston.
Okay, in Sim in an emergency, when would you want to nano Sim? What's the main thing to look at?
If she's in a good spot where she's in the middle of the team and she's got her beam like charged up pretty well. Once
the beam charged up is the big thing. If she's activated and she has her beam charged up, that can be very strong, especially against a diva. You can kind of melt that and make that non-existent pretty quick. In a good situation. The last thing I would say is that you can nano Mercy if she's like mid-res, and it's like on an influential target for stall. Like maybe you want to stall out the point for a very long time and your Winston died with Primal. Like that's another thing that you can do. It's not as strong as nanoing other supports, but it's still an option. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, cool. In terms of like what you're playing against, you don't really have any flankers to deal with necessarily, but you do have to deal with Diva eating your nades, which is going to be annoying. You also have to deal with Kiriko cleansing your nades, which is also going to be very annoying. I must say that Ana is very, very not good right now because Kiriko is so strong. But in lower elos, I don't think Kirikos understand exactly what they're doing. But I mean, to be fair, against what they have, you are going to have a very hard time as Ana, because you have to deal with the DM for 4 seconds, and also the Kirik. It's going to be a lot. But that doesn't mean it's impossible, because it is Plat 4. Anything can happen. You can still win a lot of games on Ana and Plat 4. Just, it's a little harder than it used to be. So are you good to start it up and just get going here?
Yeah, let's get to it.
Let's go. Your Sim didn't TP out. That's odd. I guess she's just playing Sims, so maybe she looks for it mid-fight. I don't know. Alright, so yep, going through hookah. I'm down with this. I'm vibing. Honestly, I would just continue rotating. I wouldn't even stop it at here. I'd just keep rotating high ground. If your team dies, it's kind of on them for not rotating with you, to be completely honest. Yeah, I'm not in love with this because here's the thing, right? If the monkey does want to engage deeper, you're not going to be able to help him from there. If you're on high ground, it's just so much easier. A lot of Ana and Overwatch 2, from what I've observed of a lot of like Ana players that are below like GM, is that it's simply just positioning is like the main thing that they struggle with the most because it does so much for you in this game.
Yeah, you'll see in the VOD, I'm making my way towards high ground, and I'm always looking for it, but I guess I get stuck before I get there trying to do something.
Yeah, that was a good sleep. But okay, the thing is here is that you were so concerned about your teammates in main that you just kind of like didn't rotate. You just need to keep rotating, and they're not like in a spot in which you can't help them. You overstayed your welcome a little too much. But yeah, over this right here, nade was a good idea. You slept him. This is good. Yeah, you should get this pretty easy. Okay,
you would
controlling.
You'd
Okay,
think.
I mean, that was still a macro-wise decent play, so that's a good anti-nade. Wow. I guess you could have helped your monkey more and made sure you weren't tunnel visioning on just damage there, but that's a little nitpicky. Dropping high ground, I'm not a fan of. They should be able to kill you here, but looks like they're not going to.
See, on the high ground, I felt like I couldn't see anything, even though I want to be there, and I do end up always going back there. But I'm like, at that moment, I couldn't see anything, so I'm just like, maybe I need to go down there to do something.
Just walk around the high ground and see what's going on. You know?
True.
Or instead of dropping directly into point, you could go into like this area just on the opposite side of point. You know what I'm saying? You could just go down here. It's a lot safer than let me just drop into the entire team when I don't have nade. you should die there, but they let you get away with it. So overall, there was just some like minor things you could have done better that fight, but this doesn't necessarily look like flat on gameplay.
Yeah, my win rate is 55 on.
That's good. That's pretty good. Yeah, if your team's fighting down there, they're probably just gonna live anyways. I'm okay with the drop, but I just don't think it was needed. Like you really can just like play off this high ground a little more and not force yourself to just jump off immediately. Because now they have monkey and it's an easy jump for them to just stop you. Yeah, when she does actually jump you, and you're gonna live because I mean, mechanics gap.
Yeah.
But keep that in mind that like dropping high ground makes things easier. That being said, like if you do get jumped by Winston on high ground, then you jump off high ground. But the step one, just so I can reiterate this, because even if you understand this, someone that was watching this might not. The first thing, like, you just want to get there. You just want to play on high ground. The second thing is you have to understand how to play off of it and understand when it's time to drop. Like, just because you're on high ground does not mean it's always going to be the best. But usually, most of the time where it's not the best is to drop off high ground is when you haven't been forced off. If the monkey jumps on you and you drop off high ground, it's not that you didn't get value, because now the monkey just used jump to force you off high ground, essentially. And now he can't really continue the engagement. If you're in a position where he can just get onto you for free and use jump to get out, or like he can just jump on you and you can't get away, that's problematic. And that's what's going to probably happen here. I think you die here.
Yep.
Yeah, because you made it too easy for him to kill you. And it's not about just taking high ground, it's about playing off of it. And I don't think enough content creators really talk about how to play off high ground, mostly because it's not clickable. But I'm probably going to end up making that within the next few months once I'm kind of fresh, dry out of content. I'm going to be honest.
I think that's something that's helpful for someone like me, because like I said, I think I do know to be there, and I know mechanically it's just playing there and knowing when to drop is kind of tricky, but I think that's what would make me go to Diamond and Masters if I could do better with that.
Positioning is a big part of it. So yeah, here, the monkey's on high ground. You look to anti him. Okay, yep, that's fine. Decent nano because he probably has jump, which he does. You sleep the monkey. Yep, this is pretty much textbook. I mean, yep, you just anti the Sojourn. Yep. Unlucky that you didn't reload there, but that's just like play more and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think reload management is something I need to work on too. Like,
no, I don't think so. I think right now it's fine. Cool. I just think right there was like a minor mistake. Like, this is good. You still could have better movement around the high ground, and that just comes with more practice. But right here, you stay on high ground, it was a lot easier for you. You know they have nano, so you're going to want to have to sleep that nano target. That's just something to think about. Yep, we're just chilling. We didn't get forced off high ground yet. Okay, yeah, that seemed like you lagged or something. I'm gonna be honest. It kind of looked...
I don't feel like I lagged in the moment. I think I just got railgunned. Like,
I'm trying to... It just looks really choppy here. You just stood still.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I could just say don't stand still and also Sojourn moment. Like, be aware when Sojourn has rail, it's like a very important thing, but that's so nitpicky, whatever. We just go to the next fight. Alright, so it looks like you've lost this fight. So we're just getting out right now. I'd be getting all the way out, but people probably don't engage on you here, so it's whatever.
Nope. Very timid on both sides.
Yeah. Right now I'm just trying to build nano and nano my monkey. Your monkey's gonna main this fine though. Okay, we got... Yep, that's big. Oh, that's so unlucky.
Yeah, I missed.
Good sleep.
I'm trying to make my way back up. They don't punish me.
Okay. Yep, just shoot him. Yep, okay. I don't think the nano was needed. Why do you think that?
I think that it was not needed. You're right. We were up by quite a bit.
Yeah, the only thing is like, it's nitpicky, but in a fight like that where you've already won and people have the possibility of recontesting, there's definitely some problems with that, and that could lead to something else. But like, overall, right now, this is not plat on a gameplay. Like, this seems at least diamonds, if not like low masters. A lot of your problem, like how many hours have you played Overwatch?
In my life or just a season?
Go life and then season.
Probably a lot. I've been playing since 2018, and I've climbed from.
What was your rank? Like, you're not your rank. Your border color. What was it?
With like gold from Overwatch 1. So I played a lot. Like,
okay.
Yeah, and then
it
this
just
season,
seems like
it's 32
mechanics.
hours.
I mean, did you play on console before you switched to PC, or have you always
yeah,
PC?
I did. I played on console for like 1 or 2 seasons, switched to PC, and this was my
Okay.
first-person shooter for for PC.
And where did you start?
When did I start?
Where? Like, did you start in bronze or silver?
No, I started in silver in my early
Okay.
years and climbed to diamond on tank and on support.
Okay, because quite honestly, right now, you're not making crazy big mistakes, and you said you had a 55% win rate. It seems like, honestly, just like there's small mechanical things that you could just like, the practice would probably just help you out to win that. But I don't know, maybe there's more that we'll see later in this session, so let's just keep going. Is that fine?
Yeah, of course. I have 32 hours played this season, by
Okay.
the way, and so we are like kind of climbing, but I just fell back like plat 5 from plat 4, so it's kind of like I feel like I've stalled out where I was shooting.
Understandable. But
So I'm trying to get over that gap.
okay, you're very exposed right now.
trying to
That
get
is
high
not
ground.
good. So here's the thing: high ground is not always the answer. So maybe this high ground video is a good idea. Honestly, here's the thing. I think high ground for your team is, it can go either way. You don't always want to just like gung ho take high ground, because if they have control of high ground, you cannot take it yourself. So like if we see here, the soldier has high ground, they have reasonable like defense against your rotation into this. You can't just gung ho take it because that's what you're supposed to do. A good alternate option is to just play main if you wanted to, if your team is trying to dive the high ground so that you can rotate then after, or just playing in this left area in general because you have a Symmetra. There's essentially 2 ways to play this map. You either play to take the high ground or you play to take the low ground, and it could really go either way.
Okay.
Their composition probably wants to take, I don't even know. Their composition is terrible, and so is yours, but you don't have to int for this high ground if it's not safe because your team isn't reasonably diving up here. Don't take it. Just play left side. That's totally fine. And support them when they do take it, and then you can rotate over after. But right here, you should die. You should die. And you don't because of their lack of aiming potential, I guess. Decent nade. It's crazy that they don't cleanse those things. It's just that it took too long to get set up, took too much damage. Maybe your team pulls through with the win. That's a good sleep. Unlucky, you missed the nade. More practice. Okay. Yeah, we heard the Pharah. Okay, yeah. Honestly, just like mechanic and awareness. Play more game, do better. The main thing I can say is that your positioning is very off, and your thought process behind positioning is making you struggle a little bit more. So that's like the thing I can definitely help, but again, I'm not going to give you specific pointers until we're at the very end, so let's keep going. You have a Sombra now, and a Diva. So a little bit faster. You're already down Sombra though, so that's not looking good. Okay, with his vibe in. Alright. So we know they have Barrage. We're saving Sleep Dart at least for that. There's yeah, but you got booped away. Okay, whatever.
And I couldn't reach it, so.
Yeah, you got booped. It's fine. Now you use sleep for that. Okay. Okay. Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can really do right now because the team's just dying. So right now, what I would do is I would just be leaving. I would just be leaving the fight entirely so I don't stagger. Really, they should walk on me here. Okay, yep, another good sleep. Another good anti. Kiriko all comes out, so realistically, the first thing you should do is just backwards.
Run.
But your team didn't do that, but I think you should do that. Again, this is just super small pointers. Seems like you guys just get hard rolled with it. Maybe we can pull it through with an EMP? Okay. Yeah, like right there, I think your biggest problem is rotations and positioning, which is weird because that's usually a really, really high level problem. But like you can't just like walk through and like not like acknowledge the existence there, especially when you have sleep dart and you know he's right there.
So what should I do here instead of what I do? Like,
let's bring it back.
Let's go back and see like where I should have gone versus me just ballsily walking in, like right past him.
Let's look at it from a third-person perspective. I think it becomes much clearer.
Okay.
We know the soldier's right there. We have sleep dart. We know we have sleep dart because it comes on in 4 seconds. So in 4 seconds, you're going to have sleep dart. You have nade as well, so you can definitely take the duel. But instead of waiting or taking the duel faster, you'll walk right in front of the homie LOS. You have to at least pressure him so you can walk forward. Communicate with your team. You know, the whole 9 yards. The thing is, in Overwatch 2, is right here, like, your team, realistically, you're so mobile, they don't really need the healing from you all the time. Like, they should be able to just exist and live. That's not to say you shouldn't heal your team, but it's okay to have a little bit of downtime. You don't want that, but it's okay when you're learning. You have to understand that you can't just walk through. You can take the duel here when you have the nade. Because he's not going to get support from Kiriko, because the fight's happening here. You can realistically turn this corner by surprise. If you hit him with a shot, you nade him, and now he's only 1 shot away. He has to either leave, or like try to just kill you in time, which he won't, and you're going to hit that other shot. Or you can wait for sleep dart and at least look to peek the sleep dart and walk forward. You can't just completely not be like, oh yeah, he's not there, huh? like I don't know if you've ever played Monaco.
No, I haven't.
It's like this stealth game. Essentially, when guards in games be like, question mark, like, huh? When you like walked right in front of them. Like, it's so very, like, you don't be a guard. Don't be like, huh, I didn't know he was there. Huh? Must have been the wind. Like, something like that.
You'll love how this goes. Watch how it continues.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm interested because this soldier, you've been like completely disrespecting all game.
Yeah, just wait. The disrespect continues. So now I'm dealing with him.
You see, that in rotation is all you need to do. Shoot him once or twice, he has to leave. Especially if he isn't hitting shots.
And then I come back to my team, but I know he's still there. Bye-bye.
Hey, your sleep dart accuracy is insane.
I practice.
You honestly could have taken that kill, but I think you need to look to just 1v1 that, force him off.
I think I was just looking to help my team, but maybe you're right. They can survive better without me than I think. Like, I'm trying to do a lot in the downtime.
Here's what you have to understand. What happens when you're dead? Can you support your team when you're dead? No, you can't. You're dead. They need you alive. So you have to prioritize your life over all else. But understand that you also need to take duels in order to keep that life and make it so that you can have more uptime. You're going to win against a soldier when you have nade. Supports are not like it's not like they can't duel DPS. I mean, surely DPS can miss a few more shots than you can, but if you just take the duel, you anti-nade him, he has to get away because now he doesn't have his healing field. Like, you win that one now. It only takes 2 shots and a nade to kill somebody. And you also can heal yourself, so effectively you have like 260 HP.
Yeah.
So, like, you can take duels. You don't need to be super scared in rotation. Especially when your sleep dart accuracy is so strong. Like, when you're hitting all these shots. Is Ana like your main hero, would you say?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I spend the most time playing her, and mostly just for fun. I'm good at other heroes too. I play a little Lucio in this spot. So
Okay.
you'll see it on the next map.
Alright, so right here you're probably gonna get forced off high ground, so I'm gonna be looking to just rotate when they push up. Yeah, you could have reloaded a little sooner when there was downtime, but that's super nitpicky. Ooh, that was close. Unlucky. Honestly, the problem is that you don't have your team up here to support you. The moment that Pharah jumps up and your Reaper is dead, you just kind of have to drop off main. Quite honestly, it's another positioning thing. If they're gonna force you off, you got to be ready to like get off of it.
Yeah. See, I think I need to be willing to get off quicker when I'm in danger.
Yes.
Like, and not just when I'm trying to make a play. Like, if it's like, oh, I'm going down there to make a play, maybe don't. Well, we'll talk about that. Let's keep going.
Oftentimes, you can quote unquote make a play when you're on high ground. The whole make a play thing to justify jumping off high ground is extremely high level, and I think positionally you should focus on other things until you get to that level.
Okay.
It's also a lot harder to quote unquote make a play in Overwatch 2 as a support in that situation because you're not playing Zen for one, and two, you don't have a Brigitte. I might have released VODs in the past where I was playing Zen and scrims and I would call it, we have to make a play and we make it work, but that is something that would require lots of time, and it's not something I can just teach people. Making a play is, yeah, it's difficult. It's difficult to tell because it's not making a play is not necessarily by the book of the game. It's not necessarily like the right way to play, but it still holds value. And that's not I'm teaching the book here. I'm teaching the macro. So do you have any questions before we move on to the last map?
Nope, let's do this one. I guess I just start here on Lucio because I see we have Reaper and Zarya now and Sim, so I'm like, I think I just want to, even with Mercy, I just wanna move the team around.
Honestly, I don't think Lucio Mercy ever works in Brawl. I'd much rather see you on Baptiste or Ana. I think healing is more important here. Especially when they have a hog, you can just hard anti that. Like, I think Ana's the better choice, but maybe Lucio works. I don't know. Lucio can work. You just have to be on heal amp. But you're already going to be on heal amp in Overwatch 2 anyways. I'm interested to see how this works. Lucio Kiriko is just so much better than this comp. But whatever. You want to play for sticking together and helping Brawl while your Reaper's not even out of spawn. Oh man, this is not looking great. Yeah, that's a great start. Okay, it's a good boot. Okay, so the big thing here, well, we'll wait until after the fight. Okay, we're just gonna play out the fight. Okay, so your Lucio is much weaker than your Ana. Your Ana is much better, and that's okay. We all have our strong characters. I think the problem is you're playing Lucio like you could play it in Overwatch 1 to try to carry. Lucio in Overwatch 2 is a lot different, and if you haven't watched my Lucio guide yet, that might help you if what I say now doesn't help. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll watch the guide after this one.
Yeah, the Overwatch 2 version, not the Overwatch 1 version.
No, the Overwatch 2.
Lucio needs to play with his team right now in Overwatch 2, especially given the fact that you have a Mercy. The big things is that Lucio is on heal amp a lot more in this game because there's not a second off tank. There's not an off tank that can mitigate the stray damage that people are taking. So now more than ever, healing and just amping heals even for your team when people are getting crit is a lot more valuable than it ever was in Overwatch 1. I can say this confidently as I've been scrimming Lucio, not Kiriko, I've been scrimming Lucio for Penn State for the past like 3 months. And it was hard at first because I was playing it like this, and then I realized amping for heals is just better. You get your beat faster, and speed, people are generally going to be closing the distance a lot easier because there's not stuff to stop them as much. So the big thing that you need to be looking out for, number one, is that you do not want to be using amp on just yourself. You want to mitigate using amp on yourself just for you as much as possible. And I would say about a 70-30 split between heal and amp, or heal and speed amp. I'd say crazy. You're going to be healing a lot more. And when you're passively just standing still, you're going to be on heal amp a lot more. Reason being, you're much more likely to be taking poke damage and just general spammy, just poke damage. That's stray damage. That's the word. You're taking a lot more stray damage in Overwatch 2 in general. Because you don't have anything to block that, like a Sigma, like a Diva. The Zarya is going to be worrying about herself now, not the Reinhardt. Because tank has changed, so has support, and so has DPS.
Yeah, I can tell you now I'm about to play this all wrong, Ben. I play Lucio totally all speed.
But the thing is that once you change and you're like, oh, I'm getting beat a lot faster, I'm also doing a lot of damage, what's going on here? And hopefully this week I can get some decent Lucio games in. I'll be honest with you, I'm probably one of the worst Lucio players in the world, but in terms of the macro, I'm getting a little bit better at understanding how to play that.
Okay.
Lucio speed is the reason why he is good. But the other thing is that he has the most consistent AoE heals now, because Brig needs to try to get up close and get Inspire up. It's just not as strong. And that's why Lucio's doing a lot better. Because he has also, which is weird. I mean, his speed is very good, don't get me wrong, especially in these brawl compositions, and you still will amp speed. It's just not like I'm on speed the entire time. Like you'll get punished for that a lot more than you would in Overwatch 1. Okay. So right now, I would just be speeding back my team because they're walking out of spawn. You want to take as many fights as possible. You got some balls, good sir. But okay, that's good speed. Amp. Once you close here's the thing. Once you close the distance on the enemy and the target has been found, you don't need to be speeding anymore. Then you need to be healing. And like before in Overwatch 1, that wasn't a big deal if you just like didn't do it because whatever, you have a tank to mitigate damage, they'll get more value out of mitigating damage anyways. You don't have that anymore, and you will die in rotation a lot easier for making dumb mistakes like that. I mean, now you're on heals, but this is one of those moments. Okay, we're no longer on the target. I'd speed amp a little bit. Movement could be a little bit better, whatever. The main thing I want to focus on is amp. Okay, but now we're on Ana. So, okay, Lucio, we'll talk about at the end. We're going to just switch gears to Ana now. I think Ana's the better pick anyways, at least for this composition.
Yeah, I realized that and switched. I was like, okay, they have Roadhog, like the Lucio's getting me killed, so
yeah.
Mostly for the Roadhog. I just say, okay, back on.
Okay, yep, we're healing. I would not be egoing a Sojourn, but hey, you didn't die. But when there's a Sojourn and it's only her, I'd just be looking to finish her off and do damage if no one's crit, and not standing still in scope. So right here, what I'm looking for is to take high ground. I don't know if you will take high ground. Doesn't look like it. We're just playing main. Yeah, positionally, I would just start high ground. It's easier to find nades that way. Also find cheeky sleeps and then drop off. We do have grab though, so maybe we're saving. Ooh, tough. Okay. I like the sleep attempt. The nade could have waited for your Zarya's grab. That's my nitpick for that. And also, you could have taken high ground. 3 things that we've been talking about this whole VOD. Are we good to keep going?
Yep, let's go.
All right, cool. That's a good nade. Team needs to walk. Unlucky. Okay, we got the res though. You almost have nano. We're playing for that. Not in love with that sleep attempt. I think using it on the hog when he's that close is probably better. Try to get the pick, but get picky again. Ooh, I would have nanoed. You looked for it, but it was just too late.
He got pushed in the corner and I couldn't get otherwise.
Yeah, there was a small window, but okay, that's actually a decent nano. I'm kind of okay with that. Just to try to win that fight fast. I mean, it looks pretty decisive for you guys, but I'm not against that nano just to make sure you win it. Probably isn't the best use of it, but
I find myself having to do that sometimes where even if maybe it's not a good habit, but I'm like, oh, if I nano here, for sure we win it. And we don't like
sometimes it's good. It takes time to really get good at that, and I'm not going to really touch on it. Okay. Again, right here, I just think you should be starting fights on high ground. So much easier to support the entire team. You're not really respecting that Roadhog as much as you could by just sitting in the middle of point. But we'll touch on that.
Yeah, like right here is dangerous, especially with the wall right there. I could have just played behind the wall.
Oh, that's a good nade. I'd be sleeping that before he even gets a chance to hook. Oh, we woke it up. Okay, you killed it. Yeah, again, high ground. High ground makes your life good.
Yeah, like right now I don't have an angle on anything.
Yeah, and you could have saved nade for your grab. Nitpicky, but still, against higher level players, that definitely makes a difference. Okay, that always nukes my PC whenever I sit on that screen, so we're not gonna sit on that screen. You can see this. Everyone can see this. Okay. No, for takeaways, if you have questions, just interrupt me. Okay. Number 1, rotations, which kind of goes over. It kind of goes under the umbrella of positioning, but I think for you specifically, understanding where you want to play and what variables need to be in place so you can play there is like the number 1 most important thing for you to understand, because I don't think you're 100% grasping that right now. And that is probably something that you learn from Diamond and Masters as you play more. Definitely in Masters of GM, you start to get at least the basics of rotation down, but at the very high, like the highest level of flex supports, I think that's like the number 1 thing that they struggle with the most. It's the hardest concept to get down. It's just rotating and making sure you're in the right spot at the right time, in my opinion.
So question,
Yep.
unless you're going to go over that, how do I work on my rotations and how do I know what the right ones are to take, since it's very game dependent and I guess map dependent? We should know to go the high ground, but yeah, how do I work on that?
So it's like, I think something to, because that's a loaded question, to be completely honest with you, because again, it's situational, yada yada yada. I think the most important thing to understand is like, what am I trying to do against their comp? What's my goal? My goal is to, as Ana, is to dish out as many anti-nades as possible and make sure that I'm in a spot where I can have line of sight to support my team once they actually get aggressive off of my anti-nades. And have good like line of sight of the fight where it's realistically safe. So playing low ground is going to make that very difficult for you to hit big nades. Very, very difficult. At least hitting big nades safely. It's very difficult. Now, playing on off the high ground, it's a lot easier to hit those nades because you're looking at a downward angle and you don't really have to deal with the arc as much. It's almost a straight line, essentially. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely.
So that's number 1.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was gonna say I do, as you see, like go for it frequently. Maybe not as frequently as I could, but it's about kind of understanding what to do when we get there and how to use it and how to move around it. That's something I am totally gonna work on, is moving around high ground once we get there, because then I can set myself better by just moving around the high ground.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is getting on high ground first, obviously, but the thing that people don't recognize is how you're supposed to play off of it. So the other thing is the high ground safe for me to realistically get there? If you cannot get to high ground because it's taken control of right now, you need to tell your team either, hey, let's dive this high ground and force them off so I can take it, or maybe the play is to just bait them onto point like it was on City Center, which was the first map we looked at, I'm pretty sure. No, second map. This one you guys lost. Well, did you lose it? I don't remember.
Yeah, we lose the City
It was
Center
the one.
map.
It's the one with the cars going back and forth.
Yeah, we lose that
Yeah,
one.
that one. Like, you can play low ground. That is fine. Playing a brawl on point, it's not ideal for the comp you're on, but it's still okay. Like, you can still do that. And that's number 2. Like, when am I able to get on high ground, and taking that high ground as fast as possible when you actually are able to get on high ground, and if it is the right spot. Number 3 is how to play off of it. And that's very important. Playing off the high ground is the whole idea. Like, you can't just play on high ground at high levels and then expect to win. You have to understand how to play off of it. It's okay to drop off high ground if they force you off of it by using cooldowns or switching a character that's taking a strong angle against you, like a Widowmaker. Then it is okay for you to get forced off of the high ground. If they dash on you, if they jump on you, if they TP on you, if they they coach gun up to you. Like, those are totally fine opportunities for you to drop back into your team, because then they had to waste a cooldown to force you off of a position.
So that was the next question. When I drop, I'm dropping down to my team. Like, what is the safest? I'm dropping to avoid a threat. So where do I go from there? Like
Well,
to the
that
nearest
it
team?
quite honestly depends on the
Okay.
situation. If I'm getting jumped on by a monkey and I am running a brawl composition, so I have a character like maybe a Reinhardt or a Zarya, I'm going to want to sit inside my team. I'm going to want to retreat to the middle of my team so that they can help me the best way they can.
Okay.
But if I'm retreating to no one because everyone's in the back line, I'm retreating to probably the nearest health pack or a place in which I can negate their line of sight. I can distinguish that I am no longer being looked at by them and they cannot Tesla cannon me around the corner. I'm trying to break away from the duel so I can get to the nearest health pack and maybe take it.
Okay. Cool.
But again, it's very situational, and that's what I said is not going to work all the time, but it will work for most situations because that's generally how it works. Generally. Does that make sense?
Yep. All good.
Cool. Honestly, like, I don't know how much you want me to talk about Lucio. I mean, we already did. If we're going to talk about, yeah, we'll talk about the two different characters. Let me just divide this in half.
Okay, yeah, I prefer mostly Anna stuff because on Lucio, your explanation was pretty good, and I do play a lot more Anna than any other support.
Yeah. So for Anna, number one thing is I would just work on your nade accuracy. There's a lot of times where you're hitting crazy sleep darts. Like obviously you've been doing Vaxa. It's very obvious that you've been practicing your aim because your aim is much better than most Annas in plat. The thing that's obviously lacking to me is that how many nades you're missing in situations where you really shouldn't be using nades. And to be quite honest with you, that just comes with more practice and setting yourself up better to actually hit those nades, which goes
Nice,
back to number one.
Good.
Which goes back to number one. It all kind of goes with each other. That's like my only thing. In terms of on his kit, like maybe your nanos could have been better. You could have saved nade for grab. There's like slight little things. You just need to think. And that'll come to you the more time you play. Like, that's not that really big of a deal. That's the Ana tip. The thing with Lucio, I would say, is just the thing where, like, amping around people and understanding that it's okay to amp heals if people are critical from poke damage. You can start amping heal, and then you can speed after. Or if you want to start with speed, once you're on the target, if you don't need to go any deeper, change crossfade to the heal when it's amping. You get a lot of heals out that way. Healing in Overwatch 2 as Lucio is much more prominent than it was in Overwatch 1. You can't get away with being a red shell Lucio like you always could. Or Reddit Lucio. Whatever you want to... however people think about it. You have any questions about those two?
No.
And then the very last thing I would say is probably... I mean, still continue to do Vaxta. This isn't really the maximum of your priority though. The 15 to 30 minutes save, whatever you're doing, keep doing it because your sleeps are hitting crazy. Probably more accurate than mine, to be completely honest. The big thing is that what's up?
I was gonna ask also how my regular scoped and unscoped accuracy.
I didn't have any problem with it. The big thing is understanding the rotations and like you can force people off. A lot of the stuff we talked about today is just like switch the mindset, and practice with more stuff in mind and you'll be fine.
Okay.
If I'm going to be completely honest with you. But yeah, that's it. Like trying to understand the bigger picture and just overall playing the game more. You're on a 55% win rate with Ana. It's not negative, so it's not like you necessarily needed the coaching, but I think this will definitely help once you start getting into those higher ranks. And do you have any questions?
No, I think it was actually pretty helpful. I do feel like I stopped climbing. Not that my win rate is lower than 55, but like it just doesn't feel like I'm making as much progress as I was. So I think working on this in mind should help me go up. I want to go to like eventually masters. So
I think you can.
I
think you can if you just focus on yourself and keep trying to improve the macro. I think you'll be fine. But if you don't have any other questions, I appreciate you for reaching out and finding me, watching all my videos, and being a good student. If there's anyone that's watching this on YouTube that wants to be in this situation, there will be a link to my Fiverr in the description for you to purchase a VOD review. I'm just very busy. I might do a free VOD week thing where I review VODs on stream for a week during Thanksgiving. Not entirely sure what that's gonna entail, but if you want that VOD right now, the Fiverr link's in the description. Again, Randolph, thank you for the time today, but if you don't have any questions, thank you everyone that has watched this far. But until next time, I've got to peace out and pass out. I'll see you in the next one.